This is the Varjo Aero, and it's a bit of a beast. Now, Varjo is a Finnish company that traditionally makes high-end, incredibly expensive headsets for the enterprise market like the XR3 and the VR3. We've forever been nagging the company about when it might make a consumer version of those devices. The Aero is the answer to that question. Or is it? So, specs. Aero is all about the display system. It's got a monstrous 2880 by 2720 resolution per eye, with a 90Hz refresh rate, and there's eye tracking and automatic IPD adjustment too. That display system is where all your money is going. The Aero costs an astounding $1,990 US, so maybe don't expect to see this one under the tree this Christmas. For that price, you should rightly expect nothing but a best-in-class VR experience, and the Aero does deliver this in some ways, but it's held back in other areas. We'll talk about the display resolution in a second because yes, it's incredible, but first we have to talk about a major distortion issue. Over the past 4 weeks using the headset, I've noticed significant peripheral distortion when rotating my head. As I look away from a virtual object or surface, it appears to warp as if not entirely solid. Only the very center of my view looks stable. It's incredibly distracting, which, ironically, is only enhanced by the clarity of the display. I've mainly been testing the Aero with a 3060 Ti, and I did see some improvement recently with a 3070 Ti, but it was still noticeable. Varjo itself says this is a software-related issue and not a hardware problem. Now, we've been in constant communication with Varjo about this issue, and the company says they hope to have it fixed in December, which is around when the first units will be shipping out. But we've got to send this unit back next week, so we're in a bit of a bind. Putting that issue aside for now, let's talk about the frankly unmatched resolution. At this spec, the Aero beats out the Quest 2, Reverb G2 and Vive Pro 2, and it's a really noticeable difference. For the first time in VR, I could line up the sights on a gun in Alex or recent releases like Sweet Surrender and see a crisp, faultless and completely solid weapon model that gave me pinpoint precision when aiming. In the best VR headsets today, you get a sense of sharpness from something like the point of an arrow tip. But inside the Aero, I'm noticing even the tiniest of imperfections that are lined along the arrowhead itself. It's nothing short of a revolution. There are other nice perks to the system too. The IPD adjustment, for example, is entirely automatic, using eye tracking to read your distance, and then shifting the lenses all by itself to get the fit right. It's decadent, but impressive, and it sounds really cool. Less impressive are the lenses themselves, which offer a 115-degree horizontal field of view, or 134 degrees diagonally. When wearing the headset, your field of view has a distinctly noticeable unnatural shape compared to basically any other headset I've used. You can clearly see a staircase-shaped diagonal edge at the top and a shadow-like horizontal line at the bottom. It's noticeable in the Varjo-based software, but it is less of an issue when you move into games and apps and get immersed in them. The headset also has onboard cooling, which can be a little noisy, especially if you move your head and hear what sounds like a fan brushing up against the surface. Tracking wise, the device uses SteamVR, so yep, not much new to say there. If there's one area in which the Aero absolutely earns its keep though, it's the comfort. This is easily the comfiest PC VR headset I've worn in an age. That's mostly thanks to the fantastic Halo strap design with a top headrest that keeps most of the 487-gram visor weight off of your face. Seriously, I could wear this thing for hours and not once feel any strain. The build quality doesn't feel quite as premium as say the Valve Index, but I do really like the fabric mesh. And there are built-in buttons for some basic VR interfacing too. I'm also a big fan of Varjo's base software, which includes options to optimize performance, follow your gaze on your PC's monitor, and even display your eyes on screen to creepy effect. It's just a shame there isn't much software out there to really test the eye tracking itself, aside from Varjo's own demos, though Varjo hopes this will change in the coming months. Okay, let's circle back around to the really big bit, the price. When I say the Varjo Aero costs $2,000, I mean just the headset itself. The price doesn't include any controllers or base stations, so you're looking at about $2,500 all in. For normal consumers, you don't need to tell me this is a ridiculous price. That's why it's so important to remember that Varjo's main audience for the Aero is still commercial markets. If you're watching this review from your simulation racing chair on a motorized motion platform, staring up from your top-of-the-line steering wheel with our video in the center of your free ultra-wide monitors, powered by the latest NVIDIA GPU, then you're probably in Varjo's target enthusiast market. But for pretty much everyone else, the Aero is a tantalizing glimpse of what the future of VR holds, not something you're gonna buy yourself. On the one hand, the Varjo Aero offers unmatched visual clarity in VR. In terms of raw specs, the headset delivers a powerhouse experience, with per-eye resolution that will have you marveling at the tiniest details of virtual worlds that you'd simply miss in any other headset. But in its current form, this enthusiast headset has issues its target market simply wouldn't accept. The biggest of which being the very noticeable distortion when turning your head. If Varjo is able to address this issue like it says it will, it'll be a real turnaround for the Aero and we'll update this review. But the prosumer market is quite rightly an unforgiving one, and at $2,000, there's little room for error with the Varjo Aero. As it stands, the blemishes are too tough to ignore. So that's the Varjo Aero, a powerhouse VR headset with some question marks. Let us know what you thought of the review in the comments below, and we'll see you soon for more VR content.
Yeah, beautiful.